Hello, and welcome to another monthly reading from Karen's Colours. I'm Dr. Karen, an Australian sociologist with a primary interest in the language of colour as it pertains to the way in which people view each other and also in the way in which we act in our everyday lives. This month, I've decided to choose a new oracle that I received just recently. It's by Sharina Starr, and it's called the Fortune Oracle. There aren't very many cards in this, but I have noticed that the cards that do exist here are really quite interesting. So hopefully they'll help us along our journey in May, because we've had a couple of really torrid months. Everyone in the world has been subjected to quite a high level of anxiety. And I hope that this month's readings for May 2026 will help to curb some of that anxiety and bring us all back down to earth and to a situation where we can actually be kind to one another. So let's get started, shall we? To begin with, let's select an oracle card to help us along and give us some extra definition to the colour reading. As you can see, my shuffling has not improved at all. Anyway. Okay, we'll pop the card over here. Now let's begin looking for some colours that will help us to understand what's going on in May 2026 for people born in May, your birthday month. I want 3 colour sets. And what we have going for us this month is purple on orange. Our greatest obstacle is white on grey. And the strength that we have to carry us through is red on yellow. All right then, so what do these colours represent? The greatest strength for May babies throughout the month of May is their ability to be confident. Orange in the internal world is always about survival skills. It's about being able to stand up, to overcome whatever conflicts and challenges are presented to you, because you have the confidence, the courage, and the sheer ability to overcome that comes with orange internally. You are a powerful person. And in the real world, the way in which you express that power is purple. Now, purple is all about innovation. It's about imagination. It's about having fun. You're basically a fairly cheerful person. And that cheerfulness comes through in the real world as an imaginative way of dealing with challenges. And when you use your imagination to deal with challenges, you often make the world a happier place, because basically purple is also about healing. It's making things better. So regardless of what the challenges are that are confronting you, in the real world, you are always able to do something that makes other people, those around you, as well as yourself, feel better about the results. What then are the obstacles that you face in May? Well, here we have white on grey. Grey internally is self-doubt. You really don't feel as courageous as this orange might suggest. Yes, there is the ability to survive, but you don't necessarily feel that. And throughout May, there will be quite a sensation of, am I really on the right path? Am I doing the right thing? A feeling of uncertainty, of confusion, of not being sure that what you have chosen to do, where you have chosen to go, and how you've chosen to get there are actually in the right direction. In the real world, as the activator for this confusion and uncertainty and not knowing whether or not you're doing the right thing, is the fact that you are suddenly confronted with something that you have not experienced before. When we have white in the real world, it's an unexpected, anxiety producing sometimes pleasure producing, but certainly something new and novel and totally out of your normal experience activity will occur. And that in turn causes you to need to rethink everything that you have thought of before as being the way in which things are done. So your strength is challenged by this new novel experience that upsets the equilibrium within your life. What then are the strengths that you have to carry with you? Well, here we have red on yellow. Now, what's really interesting about red and yellow is that when we mix those two colors together, of course, we end up with orange. And so what we have here are the component parts of the very color that is your innate internal strength. You are courageous, but here the courage is split up into yellow internally, which is all about an extension of this confusion and uncertainty down here. In fact, it creates not only a need for re-establishing happiness in your life, but it also creates for you a lack of certainty. You feel anxious, you feel somewhat perturbed about how you're going to manage to cope with, and in the real world, it's a sudden rush of passion. Whatever this experience here, this unknown experience is, it's going to make you have to realize that the world requires you to do something based on your passions, based on your innate, almost primitive responses to an issue. Red is the first of the hues that we receive when we begin to acknowledge color within our worlds. It's the first color that we create a word for. And so it's a very primal experience. This is passion. It's love. It's also anger. So whatever it is that you need to deal with as a result of this flash of whatever is coming towards you that creates that uncertainty internally, you are going to have to make an instantaneous reaction to it. And that instantaneous reaction is based not only on how you feel about it, in other words, what your gut feelings are you anxious or scared? But it's also based on your memory, because what is it that you have learned in the past? How have you dealt with issues that have challenged your ability to survive? You have courage, you have that combination there. But now, as you face whatever this issue is here, you're going to find yourself having to determine from your memory, from the things that you have learned in the past, what it is that you're going to do. So this is actually the opposite of thinking before you act. This is acting on memories that you probably don't even realize that you're acting on. So while it is a strength, it can also be an uncomfortable position to be in, because you are going to find yourself responding to issues before you have the chance to think them through. And whatever that response is, it is a passionate one, it is an active one, it is one that might even put you in danger of some sort. There are colors that are missing from here. So what are they? Well, for a start, we don't have black. We have white, we have red, we have yellow, there's no green, there's no blue or brown. You do have orange, you have grey, you have purple, but there is no pink, and there is no cyan. Each of these colours has a different way of dealing with the issues that you're facing here. Now, while these 6 colors are missing from your repertoire, I'd like you to think about which ones you would choose to add in to assist you in this journey throughout the month of May. You need the one color that is most appealing, and you also need the color that is least appealing, because those two will help guide you through the issues that you need to face. And what are those? Well, if we take aside your strength for a moment and just concentrate on these two, we find we have here white and gray and red, and orange and purple. The red and yellow we'll leave over here for a moment. Now, those 4 colors can be intermingled, and the way in which they intermingle will help determine just what it is that you're likely to do throughout the month. So here we have purple on orange, but we can look at that in this way. But we can also cross it over with the white on gray, in that we end up with purple on gray, which gives us a problem to solve, a conundrum to deal with. Purple on gray is a healing of the things that are likely to cause you confusion, uncertainty, and to establish some form of dislike of what is going on in your life. Similarly, we could also use the we could also mix it so that we end up with white over orange. By crossing those over. Now, white over orange is always a highly dramatic crisis. There's a feeling, an upsurge of the need to conquer something, but what you are trying to conquer in the real world is not well established, so you can't actually see it. Either of those, the purple on gray or the white on orange, interfere with the strengths and the obstacles that you are dealing with. And when we mix those up, we often find that there are other issues that arise for us that we don't actually recognize as being a mixture of what we can do and what we feel that we cannot do. Adding into the mix the red on yellow, we find that you could have purple on yellow. Purple and yellow are opposites on the color wheel. And what they do is to create an admixture of what you have learnt, memory, and also what you can imagine. So it's a very creative thing. But together, when we shake those two colors up, because they happen to be opposites on the color wheel, we end up with the color brown. Brown here is the color of creating goals and aspirations and developing the practical skills that are necessary to overcome. As well as this, we could also have red over orange. Now, red over orange is always an alarm issue. So your strength, this red on yellow, as being the thing that you can use, or the combination that you can use to help you along this journey, can create for you a situation where you are required to get your act together by remembering how to be creative, but also it creates for you an alarm situation because suddenly you're confronted with something that requires you to act instantaneously, instinctively, without necessarily having any say in the issue. But we can also cross that helping combination with the obstacle. And when we have that, we'll move this for a moment. we end up with red over grey, which is the sudden unthinking, unfeeling, unexpressed activity about anything. And that creates a disturbance in yourself. So it's something to be aware of. If you suddenly, out of confusion or uncertainty, find yourself doing something that you normally would not do, something passionate, active, potentially dangerous, then stop, because red also gives you the opportunity to do that. Stop and reconsider. On the other hand, we can also have white and yellow. The obstacle white, that experience that is unknown, crossed with yellow, the ability to think and remember and also to reason. And this actually is a positive link, because here we have the ability to overcome the unknown by simply remembering what it is that we did last time we were faced with a novel situation. So the red on yellow actually helps both the strength and the obstacle to assist you to overcome. I certainly hope that whatever it is you're facing here in this white on grey will be something that is able to be easily overcome. And again, I invite you to look at the colours that are missing. I have in previous episodes talked about what each of these colours mean, and if you're interested, you can go back and either look at them there, or you could look at the series on colour personalities, which discusses each one of those colours in detail. But the primary issue here is for you to choose the colours based on appeal, not necessarily on your knowledge. So please look at them, determine which ones you want to work with throughout the month, and then incorporate those into the reading. Let's look at the oracle. Whoa, it says here, snake. Your intuition and healing powers will guide you to a better path. Just be careful. This entire reading is about being careful of your choices. Make sure that what you want to do is a path that leads you to a better future and not one in which you will be bitten. Well, there's one thing for sure, and that is, even though we've had a rough number of months, February, March, and April, May doesn't really offer us all of the wonderful future that we might be hoping for. There's still going to be struggle. There's still going to be a need to reevaluate where we are going, what we are doing, what we want out of life. If your reading resonates with you, then certainly I urge you to make use of those missing colours, because they will make a difference to the way in which May 2026 works out for you. In the meantime, I wish you all the best for the month, and I'll see you again at the beginning of June. May the colours of your life bring you all the things that you need for your own happiness and higher good. Catch you next time. Bye.